Hello everyone and welcome to your immediate post-match reaction to a fantastic Rangers win away in France. Rangers run out 4-1 winners away to Nice. Definitely not a result many of us expected, if any, at all. Plenty to talk about from that performance and plenty of confusing bits as well with regards to Rangers in Europe versus Rangers domestically. But joining me to talk through and give his immediate reaction to the events of tonight, we've got Ross Chalmers making his return to the podcast. How you doing, Ross?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, even better after watching that. It's been a while, but yeah, it's good to be back and talk about Rangers. You definitely missed this podcast when things aren't going so well, and this is an opportunity to vent. So tonight, I'm not going to vent. I'm going to be dead positive because that was a fantastic result. So fair play to the team, and I'm looking forward to analysing it.
Yeah, plenty of comments coming in already. William Flint saying, "Whoop, there was a team there." Then Chris Smith saying could have been double figures. Ian Hunter saying much better watch. Definitely the mood is positive after that one. Ross, what is your overall summing up of the game and your reaction to that performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not a result I expected tonight. I thought the team would be flat coming into this one just because it was such a difficult, result of the weekend against Dundee United. I think we always expect Rangers to play a little bit better in European competition. They've showed that so far this season. They've shown it in the last couple of years, and I think it suits a lot of these players in terms of it's, a much more open game. They can maybe show a wee bit more of their quality. It's not maybe about all the possession and try to break teams down. So it does suit us, but I did not expect a result like this. I thought Rangers were clinical. I think they would, and that's at times we've not really had that, especially with the likes of Cyril Dessers and things. So Egeman tonight showed a clinical side, which is something we've wanted up front for a while. Probably fair to say as well, if we're all being honest here, that Nice were pretty poor. Defensively, we're all over the place, and that's not something you expect to see in European competition. You always expect once you go up a level, it's going to be a lot more difficult. So I think they maybe played into our hands a little bit tonight, but Rangers came out and they were ready for the approach that Nice had, and they were devastating on the counter-attack, which you've seen at times. And like I said earlier, we were clinical, and that's something I really think we've struggled with a lot this season. So it was good to see us grab a few important goals, and it shows you how important goals are in certain periods of games, because we killed that game tonight. As soon as that goes 2-0, it's dead. Yeah. Because Nice didn't show enough in that first half. They didn't have any belief to get back into it. And actually, we've pushed on and made it an even more devastating result for them, which again is what I love to see. So overall, yeah, a really positive night. I'm just hoping we can build on this now. And I think that's the way that everyone will look at this.
100%. There's plenty of positives to take from tonight, and one of them, which will be the first talking point we come to, is Hamza Egeman. He was in from the start, a surprise for a lot of people. Ross, I think many were expecting Cyril Dessers to come in. Perhaps a surprise as well that was the only change after the performance at the weekend against Dundee United, which we were all disappointed by and was nowhere near up to the level. But Hamza Egeman coming in from the start, was that... We know now that it was a really good decision from Folk Clement, but at the time, were you happy to see it?
It was actually something I was thinking about yesterday, because Cyril Dessers, it's not a podcast to have a go at Cyril Dessers, right? There's no point in that, but he has been poor lately, so I thought, okay, what can the manager do to mix things up? You've got Hamza Egeman there. Danilo's obviously not available in European competition, and it was something I was debating yesterday whether he would do it. And I think I got to that point, as I always do with Clement, and think, he probably won't though. He'll probably play it safe. He'll play a Cyril Dessers. And actually, to be fair to Cyril Dessers, he has shown a little bit more in European competition. He was good against Olympiacos away from home as well, and he exploited the space. So I thought he'll maybe go with the safe option. He's went with Hamza Egeman. And I'll probably speak for a lot of Rangers fans at this point, that actually gave me a lot of enthusiasm to watch the game. Now, not necessarily because I believed it because Hamza Egeman was starting the game that Rangers would get a result, but he is an exciting player for us, and he's a development talent. And to play on a stage like this, he hasn't started the game like this. I thought, this is really good. We're going to actually see what this boy's all about. And I think at times tonight, you can see that he is a developing player, right? There was a lot of things tonight that he done really, really well, and there was a lot of things he didn't do so well. But I think as a fan, you can buy into these sorts of selections more because the manager talks about a project, young players, they need time. Well, if you start selecting them and putting them in games like this, the fans will get behind it. And I think you've seen tonight, there was a different energy in the team. Egeman up front, I actually felt the players behind had a little bit more confidence in the ball going into them and being able to play off. I think you've seen that at several points. And actually, I thought he handled himself really well. I think at times we've seen with Morelos over the years, maybe Rangers weren't playing as well in Europe, but he was a nuisance. And actually, I thought tonight, Eggman was a nuisance. He made it difficult for the centre-backs, which actually in a game earlier this season, he didn't do so well domestically. So that's something he's obviously looked at and developed as well. So lineup, I think it sounds really harsh, but I was delighted not to see Dessers. I just think at this point, he's not shown enough. He can't be starting games.
Yeah.
Great to see Eggman come in, and he took his opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely did. And with these sorts of games, you never know what the opposition are going to be like and what level they're going to be at, but you also don't know what level performance Rangers are going to put in either. When the game started off, Ross, I thought Nice looked pretty pacey. I thought they looked pretty quick in attack. And I guess the early instant where the ref tried 3 different occasions to give them a penalty was a bit of a concern as well. I don't think none of them were a penalty at any point. Really good defending after Nadim Barami left. Just stood there and watched his player run off the back of him. And Ali McCoy's pointed out a number of times that did happen, which is a concern. But really good defending outside of that. I think it was Suter, then Sterling, and then Connor Barron.
Yeah, I thought the one that worried me with that one was the Connor Barron one, because when they first showed the highlight, it was the last one where they tried to give a penalty, and I thought he's caught the bottom of his foot there. He's just booted the bottom of his foot. I thought that's going to be a penalty, and then obviously they show you the other angle, and it's like, wow, it's a great interception. The other two are never handballs ever, so I don't know why it took so long. Yeah. Both arms are tight to the body. They're not making themselves bigger. These checks should be, instant. It should be like, look, they're not making themselves bigger. They can't do anything else. Supporting arms, whatever, jumps within the natural silhouette of the body. It's never penalties. So yeah, the Barron one worried me. Did take a wee bit too long. I think the referee was one of those ones where he's like, oh, well, I've given a penalty here. I need to try and find it. Thankfully, even though I don't like how long VAR takes, and I think we're all in that place, it gets the right decision at the end of the day, right? We've been in the end of, all teams have been in the end of bad decisions like that. And it changes the trajectory of the game. Tonight, we've got the benefit of VAR. It's chalked that penalty off, and we've went on and capitalised on it. So, yeah, a bit of a nervous moment at that point, because I thought actually both teams started okay. A bit of a scrappy game overall, first half, but I thought Rangers were fine. I thought they'd bedded into the game well. Nice weren't really threatening, so that would have been a real kind of sucker punch. So I'm glad they didn't get that penalty in the end.
Yeah, I thought after that we came much more into the game, and we were starting to hit Nice in the counter-attack quite a bit as well. Created a few chances, had a few shots. I think there was one from Czerny and one from Hefty. I keep going between Hefty and Jefty. I need to pick one.
It's got to be Jefty. Get that J in. Yeah.
So I think I saw the promise that we could potentially have. And I thought we grew into the game in that first half performance, but it wasn't until 35 minutes that we managed to break the deadlock. Nice ball in from the right-hand side. Hamza Eggman shows his desire to get across his man and to win the ball. He does so, a nice wee flick back to Czerny. Czerny somehow with zero backlift manages to take the shot. It takes a double deflection and wrong foots the goalkeeper, but I actually thought we deserved to be in the lead at that point, Ross, and it was just another positive, I guess, of going 1-0 up.
Yeah, and I think that goal, actually something we've not been able to say about this Rangers team this season, is their approach play and their build-up and the kind of attacking patterns. I actually thought this was a really well-worked goal from Rangers. They were patient. Yeah. They were moving the ball from side to side. Sterling's kind of moved forward into that kind of right channel position. It's like Czerny dropped deep and picked the ball up. So when Czerny's running with the ball, he's dangerous. And I think that's where the kind of chance comes from originally. The ball comes in, and again, like I spoke about earlier, Eggman, he's not the favourite to win that ball, but he makes himself a nuisance. He annoys the defender, and I thought he was growing in confidence at this point of the game. Does really well, lays the ball back, and look, sometimes you take shots from those areas and you get a little bit of luck. Czerny gets a little bit of luck. It takes 2 deflections to go in the back of the net, but that's what I want to see from my forward players in those areas. Take a strike, you're in and around it. You never know what's going to happen. So I agree with you. I think Rangers probably deserve to go ahead at that stage, and I'm glad they did.
Yeah, one criticism we have of this Rangers team is when they go 1-0 ahead, they never kill the game. They tend to go back and sit back. Thankfully, it was only, I think, 3 minutes between Rangers' first goal and Rangers' second goal. Nice clipped ball over the top from Dujon Sterling. The defender just bizarre what the defender did in terms of just giving up and starting to face the other way and jogging as he ran back. Diomande didn't give up, and to be fair to him, it's the kind of run that we need Diomande to be making, and it's the kind of contribution we need him to be making. He's not been making anywhere near enough, but the finish is exquisite. At first I thought he's just stuck a leg out, he doesn't mean it, but then when you see the replay, he's watching for the ball and he absolutely does mean it. A tremendous finish, and going 2-0 up, you think, well, we just need to kick on from here now.
Yeah, those sort of runs are runs we've seen from Diomande at Nordsjælland. I think that was a lot of the kind of analysis that had been picked up on him, that he did like those kind of, the term's box crashing runs, isn't it? Right? I'm not a big fan of that one, but you know what I mean, right? That's it. I think that's the the hipster term there. But yeah, it's one of those ones where he's run beyond the defence. Again, defenders are the nightmare, right? He's lost concentration. He obviously thinks he's further back or his goalkeeper's closer, and he just lets the ball go over. And yeah, fair play to Diomande again, because that is not an easy finish. Like, that is really difficult. And when they showed the angle from the side of the pitch, he's not got a lot of time to actually steady himself to flick that over the keeper, and he did it. So yeah, he deserved that. I thought, again, Diomande wasn't great tonight, but I think you saw a lot more of his quality, and I think you always do in these European games. He gets more space, he gets more time, he can drive with the ball, he's so good at retaining it. So it was good to see from him, because I think he needed that, right? I think there's been a lot of criticism in the last couple of weeks. I think he maybe needed a goal to kind of remind people of his quality. So I'm glad he got it. And yeah, it is rare for Rangers to kind of kick on in those moments, sometimes to take the foot off the gas. It was good to go and see us get the second.
It absolutely was. I've taken a note here about Nico Raskin and his performance first half, but before we get to that, I'm going to ask you about the third goal, because it just kept getting better for Rangers. We spoke about Nice being a bit wasteful, or a bit nowhere near as good as we thought they would be, and the third goal summed that up. Pablo Rosario, I think the defender's name was, just passed it back blindly to his goalkeeper, Hamza Gaman. Nicks in front of the goalkeeper, takes a good touch to get away from him, but his second touch is actually the better one, with his left foot, that he brings it back in and heads towards goal. You're shouting, shoot, 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 and he just dwells and dwells and dwells. I think Ali McCoy was going to have a heart attack on comms, but he does find the back of the net, and it's that's the second time in this Europa League campaign that Hamza Gaman has shown composure and really good quality in terms of his finishing. I thought it was a really impressive how composed he was as he was bearing down on goal with that defender between him and the back of the net, and 3-0. You're just sitting there wondering what's going on.
Yeah, there's been a few games like that over the years in Europe, aren't you, where Rangers go ahead and ties where you just don't expect it, or they produce performances. So maybe we shouldn't be surprised at this point. I agree with a lot of what you said there with Igaman. I think, like always, Rangers fans would be lying if we said we're not scarred by Cero Dessers at this point, because I'm convinced he's missing, which is shocking. I should never be in that position.
You're convinced he's a defender, aren't you?
You're just because obviously there was that chance in the first half where Barami plays it to Igaman and he tries to get it back onto his right foot. By the way, he's got to play Cherny in there. That was a shocking decision by Rami, regardless of Igaman making a mistake there. But in terms of bearing down on goal, I'm just so scarred by us missing so many chances in those areas that I just thought, please don't miss. And fair play to him, right? He holds his composure, he waits for the defender to commit himself, and he just blasts into the corner. And look, it's a really bad mistake again from Nice, but we capitalise on it, and that's something we don't see enough of. I want this Rangers team to be ruthless. You've got to be ruthless, especially at this level, because teams like Nice or that quality will build themselves back into the game. You've given them an opportunity to. We didn't tonight. We took the chances. And Igaman deserved it at that point, because I thought he'd done a lot of good work for the first goal. I just thought his play all round was developing as the game went, and I was glad to see him get that goal.
Yeah, we've got AG saying he megged him, did he not? He did not, AG, for that goal. We'll come on to that bit of delightful skill in a second. Yeah. But Ross, I'll go back to my Nico Raskin point. I think maybe you in our group chat that said this is the Nico Raskin that we thought we were going to see, and the Nico Raskin that we thought we had bought when he arrived last January. He's been really impressive so far, and tonight was another one to add in there.
Yeah, I have to say, I think, there's not a lot of praise for Philippe Clement at the moment, but I think you would probably have to praise the manager on this one with Raskan, because I think he's looked at him when he's came in and he's felt, you're not giving enough. I'm not seeing enough from you. And he didn't play him, and he took him out the side, and he was never getting an opportunity. He's brought him back in. He was maybe forced with a few injuries and suspensions, but Raskan's came in and he's grabbed the opportunity, especially at the corner, the same way Conor Barron did earlier in the season, right? And he's been amongst the team the rest of the season. This is exactly the type of player I want to see in Raskan. I still think there's bits of his game he can develop. I think his passing range at times maybe isn't there. I think you've seen that at times tonight where Rangers had an opportunity to break and he struggled to play that ball through. There was one in the first half where he broke up play and then he switched out to Barami. And I thought, this is exactly the type of midfielder you need in a game like this. Someone that can break things up, take control of it, and then relieve the pressure. I just think he has really been showing a lot of development in his game over the last few weeks. And it's probably helped him as well because he's just playing the same position, right? He's playing as a number 6 now. That's your position. You're going to play there every single week. And I think he's getting better and better. And I think you've seen that tonight. What I love about I know we're just talking about Raskan, but the pair of them, Barron and Raskan, they've both got a bit of dig.
Yeah.
And I think we have missed that for so long in that midfield, a bit of dig. That's what Ryan Jack used to give us. In these games, especially in Europe, he used to give us a bit of dig. Someone that could get their foot in the ball, make an important interception. I think you're seeing that from the two of them now. Raskan, especially tonight, his game is just starting to go up that level. And it was myself that put it in the chat earlier. This is the player I think we expected to sign. Yeah. Now, is he going to have dips in his form? Of course he will. But this Raskan we're seeing at the moment, this is a player we expected to see. We just need to see it on a consistent basis, and we'll have a really, really good midfielder in there.
100%. Let's get into that second half and the quick fourth goal. Normally we're looking for the quick second goal and as we head into the second half of the game, but it was a quick fourth goal that we got, and it was Hamza Gaman again out in the left hand side. Nutmegs the defender. Defender tries to pull him back, but he's strong enough and quick enough to get away from him. And then he drives in towards goal and times the finish perfectly, and it's a lovely finish as well. Low and curled into the side netting of the far side of the net. 4-0 up, and Hamza Gaman is on for a hat trick, and he's shown that promise that we all wanted to see from him.
I thought that goal there from Gaman, obviously it shows a lot of ability out on the left-hand side, and I think we've seen that now. He is a good ball carrier, beats his defender really well.
I think there was a point in the first half where it was 10 minutes into the game or 15 minutes into the game where he was out on the left-hand side, he just tried to do a wee flick around the defender, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on?
He's got a lot of confidence, which I actually really like to see in a young player. Like just someone comes on and goes, well, I've not got too much to lose. I actually thought you seen a little bit of that with Bailey Rice as well late on the game tonight, where it's like, okay, it's a small opportunity to show what my kind of ability. Didn't do loads, but I like that in a young player. And I think the finish itself is that's like a seasoned kind of veteran finish. Do you know what I mean? Like he's bearing it on goal. You maybe expect him to take an extra touch inside to give himself a better angle. He just curls it round the keeper. Like the keeper's getting no chance. And his reaction to that goal was so good as well because he was delighted. It's like, that's the type of moment I need to take. Like you could see the smile on his face straight away. So, look, I think we've all noticed Wigan, since he came in. We've got a talent here. Like this is a really good player, like a good young player. And if Rangers, play their cards right and develop him, we can have a really good striker in our hands. Of course, we're going to have to take our time with him. There's certain games you're going to have to take him out, give him a rest, whatever. His form's going to dip. We've seen that at certain points. But I want this boy to get more and more opportunities now. If you're playing a European tie away from home and you're scoring 2 goals, you have got to start at the weekend. Now, I know I'm jumping ahead here, but this is where you'll start to get buy-in again from the fans, right? You get a performance like that from a young player. You're talking about projects. You're talking about development players. It's a long process. Well, this is it. He's grabbed his opportunity, put him right back in. See if he can do it again. See if he can do it in a different environment away in St Johnstone and Perth. It'll be freezing cold. He'll be getting kicked up and down the park. Like this is it. This is how you develop players. You put them into different environments and you see how they react. So I'm really glad that he grabbed his opportunity again, man. I think that we've got a really, really good player here. I don't want to go overboard because I have a tendency to do that with young players at Rangers, but I definitely think we've got a really good talent here.
Yeah, for 4-0 up after 54 minutes, and you're thinking, how many could this be? Especially with the way Nice were playing. They were defending with like 2 defenders left on the halfway line and everyone else pushing up. And it was pointed out many times throughout the game that 1 pass or 2 passes and Rangers would be through on goal. Didn't feel like we took advantage of that as much as we should have, but also felt like we missed a fair few chances as well. Are you disappointed there was only 4 goals for Rangers tonight, as weird a sentence as that is?
Nah, I can't be. I think you're right to say that we did miss chances, and I don't think Nice were great in possession. And that looked to me a Nice team that had chucked it, to be honest with you. Like there was 100%. No defensive structure or no shape off the ball. That there's a difference between trying to get back in a game of football or just kind of like, oh well, doesn't matter anymore, we'll just all bomb forward. And I think that's what you've seen at times. So yeah, maybe we could have been a wee bit more clinical, but I'm not going to criticize a team that are 4-0 up that take their foot off the gas, right? With God, where we've been lately, I really can't criticise the team for that. So yeah, okay, we could have scored a few more goals. I think Dessers has got to score. I had no idea how he misses that. No idea, but I've said that a few times in this podcast, so there's not really a surprise at this point. But no, I can't be critical of them tonight, Craig. Yeah, I thought they were clinical in the moments that matter, and you've came away with 3 points in a really tough game. So I can't be critical at all.
Yeah, conceded in the last 10 minutes, but it was some free kick from the boy.
Yeah,
that he scored, so it's difficult to place any blame at anyone's door for that one. But 3 points that takes us on to 10 points in the group stage, pretty much guarantees a playoff spot at the very minimum. We're out just outside the top 8 on goal difference to go straight into the last 32. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, Spurs, then Manchester United, then Union Saint-Gilloise, I'll go for the so you think 3 more points in there from anywhere, and we're in the top 8 pretty much. You'd like to think so. Really positive from Rangers, but Ross, another positive European performance, which is in stark contrast to our domestic form. How frustrating is that to you as a fan?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've not been on the podcast for a couple of months, right? So I've had a lot of frustration built up watching Rangers, and yeah, I was away travelling and things, and it doesn't leave you, by the way. Even if you travel thousands of miles away, it does not. You think you're going to separate yourself from it a little bit, and you really don't. So I've not had the opportunity to come on and vent. Look, I'm struggling to be too negative tonight because I think that's a really good result, and I think overall it was a good performance. Yeah. We've maybe came to expect at this point that you are going to see a better level from these players in Europe because the kind of style fits them, even though that Clement came out yesterday and said it's nothing to do with the style, it's to do with injuries and things like that. Look, I think we can all see it, okay? That this is a team set up to play in transition. It's a team set up to take the opportunity of the ball breaking, turnovers, and that's fine. That can be an effective method of football. The problem is in domestic games, and you see it at the weekend with Dundee United, they were not interested in having the ball. They've got no interest in having it. They're going to let you have it, and you're going to have to try and break them down. So frustrated that we can't seem to transfer some of the good stuff we do in Europe into domestic games. I'm hoping it comes with time. Of course, we all are. I think it's fair to say that a lot of people have lost faith in this manager, but he will build up a little bit of credit again if he starts to give the guys like Egeman an opportunity. He's playing Dujon Stern at right back now, who I think in the last 2 games has been fine there, and I think he'll start to develop more in that position. You're seeing young talent coming through, like a Jefty. I think he's been superb since he came in. Connor Barron, Raskan, Diamondi again tonight showed his quality. You've got 2 experienced players out wide in Barami and Cherny. So something I think that's been a debate the last few weeks is the strength of this squad. And I think it's fair, right? If you're not getting results, you're allowed to say that this squad isn't good enough. That is completely fair. But there's no doubt there's good players in this team. Like, they show it in European football. Like, so you can't go from a bad player on a really, really good player on a Thursday and then you're a terrible player on a Saturday, Sunday. It doesn't work like that. So there is talent in this team. There is good players. We just don't seem to get the most out of them. And I think that's not just been a thing under Philippe Clement. I think that's been a thing under a few managers now for a couple of years. We can't seem to get a system that works consistently with the group of players we have. So I just think going forward, I just want to see a wee bit more of these kind of younger, hungry players come in, grab their opportunity, start to play them, start to develop them, the fans will then start to buy into this a wee bit more again, and maybe have a bit more of an understanding when there is a dip in performance, because at least you've got players in there that are developing, they're trying to get better, and we have to be a wee bit more patient. I'm not going to be patient if I watch James Tavernier, Cyril Dessers and Tom Lawrence play every single week. I'm not going to be patient because they're not showing enough to play. So I think that's where the frustration comes in, and I think that's why I want to see us build on these European performances.
Yeah, I think that's all very fair points, and I think probably all points that I've made in about 40 podcasts in the last month.
I could be here all night with these 2 months of ramblings. I could be here all night, but I'll save everyone. From that.
Just to round off the podcast, Ross, can you give us a man of the match for tonight? Can you see past Hamza Egeman?
So I'm going to give it to Hamza Egeman because I don't think you can go against him when he scored 2 goals in a European tie away from home. So he definitely gets it. But yeah, I think the other 2 that stick out for me are Nicholas Raskin. I actually thought Jeffy as well was really good again tonight. See Jeffy's ability 1v1 as a fullback. Unbelievable. Just faces a guy up 1v1 and he just goes, I'm going by you. It's such a really powerful tool that we probably don't use enough in our attacking play. Like, he can beat anyone 1v1, so it's really great to watch. But Raskin again, I just thought, this is a guy now that's maybe recognised that his Rangers career was going one way and he was probably going to be out the door this summer. And I think he's went, actually, I'm not doing enough. He spoke about at times, I want to go and play for Chelsea in the Premier League and all that. And that's all well and good. I'm all for players coming here and thinking this isn't the last step in my career. You got to do it when you're here, but you're not going to go anywhere if you can't do it playing for Rangers. So I'd like to give him an honourable mention, but I can't not give it to Hamza Egeman. I think everyone's buzzing about him, and I think he deserves that man of the match.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. Let us know your man of the match in the comments, who you think was the best player on the Rangers side, and we will, there's plenty of options in there. I think it's fair to say. I promised Ross when we came on here it was going to be a 15-minute podcast. It's now at 27 minutes.
That's
so I think
my fault.
I think we'll round it off there for the evening after Rangers 4-1 win away in France. Plenty to talk about. When there's 4 Rangers goals to talk about, we're always happy. Thank you very much to Ross for joining us on his return to the podcast. Thank you very much to you all for listening. Please do like the video if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe to TII YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss out on any more content as we produce it over the coming weeks, and a busy December for Rangers. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Until next time, goodbye.